Happy Thursday, right? Is that what today is? I've kind of lost track.
Yeah, I think so. I know it's cold.
Yeah, it is cold, man.
Friday's almost here, so yeah, it's probably Thursday.
I'm a summer beachy person, so this is just I'm not digging this cold weather, which I know, we say, 25 is freezing, but then someone will be like, yeah, listen, from Colorado, it's below zero, and we're like, yeah, it ain't quite that bad.
I got a call from a listener this morning. It's actually colder in Palmer, Alaska, it was warmer in Palmer, Alaska than it is right here.
You got a call from a listener on our podcast or for the radio station?
For the radio station.
I was going to say, okay, so what have you been secretly handing out your number to our listeners here on the internet? Not, So we are the Podcasting Dead, as the name would suggest. Yes, we do talk a lot about The Walking Dead, but we're also trying new things. I really cannot express how excited I am for the Conspiracy Theory podcast. That's going to be led by the one and only JP right across from me. That's good. You're going to really dig that, man. The discussion, the topics that he's got kind of lined up that he wants. It's going to be amazing.
I've got 4 very intriguing topics that I've been investigating kind of on and off for a while. We've got a few. I don't want to say experts, but a few people who know more about it than I do. We're going to be bringing in here, there, and yonder.
Yeah, so it's going to be really fun.
It's going to be interesting. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit the little bell beside it to get notified. We've gotten in the habit of doing several videos a week, so we'll always try to provide you with some content throughout your week. And what this is obviously is a mail call video. We when we started off, we got so few comments that it was easy to address them because it was like 3 comments per video. So it's of course we can answer questions. And then we've been very fortunate to grow the channel, and now it's a little bit harder to keep up with everybody's questions. But that was one of our favorite things in the beginning, was interacting with you on YouTube. So we were like, hey, maybe we'll do like a mail call, and that'll make it a little bit easier. So if you've never heard of our channel, that's what this is. So maybe you should go listen to some of our actual Walking Dead podcasts first so you can get acquainted with our personalities, and then you can hear us answer questions, because otherwise you might not be ready.
It can be a harrowing journey.
I thought you said a heroin journey.
Well, I mean, I'll be taking that later tonight. So if I'm a little groggy tomorrow morning, you'll
I told you, unacceptable. JP,
don't judge my lifestyle.
I'm your manager at our radio station. You can't be telling me these things.
I'm not talking to manager Justin. He doesn't know anything about this. I'm talking to podcast Justin.
No, okay.
So don't communicate with manager Justin.
So let's go. Here's Shinso the Great says, my missed question from a show ago. Deserted Island shows or movies top 5, pronounced Shinso. I'm not sure exactly what desert island shows or movies.
Oh, like being abandoned on a deserted island?
Maybe. Yeah.
Like a Gilligan's Island kind of thing? That would be my number 1, even though it's not a movie.
Okay, yeah. I'm not, Shinso, thank you so much for commenting and for listening. I'm not 100% sure what you're asking, so just let me...
Castaway.
Maybe he's saying deserted island shows or movies. Like, would you rather watch it in a show or a movie? I always actually tend to prefer shows because you can do so much more in terms of longevity and long storytelling. But
it all depends. It's not on an island, but man, I love that movie. Now the names escape. They're Open Water. I loved Open Water.
Wait, with the sharks?
Yeah, with the sharks.
Yeah, is that the one where they get left behind?
They get left behind. Yeah, it's
a depressing ass movie.
Man,
yeah,
I saw it
based on a true story.
Yeah, I saw it in theaters, not even really knowing what it was going to be. I mean, the title gives a lot away, I guess. But
that was tense in a theater.
Man, it was, and like just at the end of it, when you see them split the shark open and the camera falls out and everything, everyone just. Like, even after like it went to black, everyone was just sitting there.
Didn't that have the chick from Knocked Up in it?
I can't remember.
She was on Grey's Anatomy and all that.
I haven't seen it since it was in theaters. I really had no... It's kind of like Requiem for a Dream. I saw it once. I was really moved, but really had no desire to watch it again. Yeah,
that Requiem for a Dream is definitely one that it was great to see. I recommend everyone watch it, but you might not want to watch it again. Strange Floridian, longtime listener, says, "Where's Matt?" Which is funny because you said that. I right as I read that, Matt just texted me. But did Jadis take him as well? Yes, Jadis came down from her helicopter, held him at gunpoint. We put up a valiant struggle, but nonetheless, she was, she bested us and she took away Matt.
Luckily, he was a bee, though.
It's what she said. I don't know if I trust her, though.
I think she was just trying to say he's a butthole, which I don't agree with. I've loved Matt for many years.
Matt's just kind of doing his own thing. Matt doesn't really follow The Walking Dead anymore, and we had him on the first few, but it's I feel bad when we try to drag him onto it because Matt just doesn't. The Walking Dead. It's a show he's lost interest in. He's not really fond of it, and we podcast early, and he doesn't even come in until much later, so it's just kind of inconvenient from when we podcast for him, for a show that he doesn't even really like. I mean, it's for him, it's one of those things where it's like a chore to watch the show. So we hate to make somebody do anything they don't want to do in terms of him having to watch a show he doesn't like. So
he basically he kind of broke up with us. He was just like, this throuple isn't working for me anymore.
If you're listening, Matt, JP is still crying every night.
Yeah.
I have to come up with an excuse for where you are every night. No, but so he's it's just not, we still love him to death. We work with him. We see him every day. It's just, The Walking Dead's not really his jam anymore. Raven the Devious says, mail call. Some what if scenarios for you guys. Ooh, okay. We're sitting in a bar and sitting around a table is Abraham, Rick, Beta, Negan, the governor, Jesus, Glenn, Eugene, Rosita, and Michonne. Table is stocked with all the beer and liquor you could drink. What does everyone drink?
Jesus.
Who outdrinks who? Who fights who? Who hugs who? Who passes out? And who wakes up next to who? Oh, that's really, really cool. And he asked who would win between Rosita and Luciana in a wet T-shirt Jello wrestling contest.
Oh, man.
I think Rosita's a little bit more resourceful. I think she would figure it out. I like Luciana a lot. She's a badass, but I think Rosita is a little bit more resourceful. She's a little bit more, I don't want to say battle-hardened Luciana's, but I think at this point in time, I feel like Rosita's been through more than Luciana, but I could be wrong. My bet's on Rosita.
I just want to eat a cup of that Jello when they're done, bro.
Yeah.
That's all.
Oh, my God. I knew that's where that was going. Well, I had an idea. But, that's a great question. Maybe we'll make a podcast about that. But I definitely think it says who outdrinks who. I don't know, man. If Beta is a drinker, probably Beta could outdrink everyone because he's so big.
Big old boy.
Take a lot of alcohol to.
Abraham could probably.
That was my second. I was going to say, as far as just Abraham probably could outdrink everybody.
Clearly, Negan and Rick wake up, together.
Oh yeah. In JP's fantasy, I don't see Jesus even drinking that much. Christy Finlay says, "Hey guys, still rather new to your channel. Hey Christy, thank you so much for finding us. Love hearing your thoughts about each episode and just different aspects of the show. You're awesome." Spoilers for the comic and show. So, okay, you've been warned. Those are on the way. But she says, I feel like Gabriel has had a lot of screen time this season, and so I think he'll likely die. I think he's going to end up on a pike. Oh, man.
Oh,
I definitely think his ticket's about to be punched, but I'll tell you in a minute how I think it's going to happen. I don't think he's going to end up on a pike, though. I think they kind of already foreshadowed his death. But Negan and Alpha's interaction from the comics, I don't read them, just know from hearing about it. My thought is that Negan will go after Alpha after he spots Gabe's head on a pike. Okay. No, they aren't friends, but I don't think Negan is totally heartless. Plus, they've been spending once a week for like 4 years together, and it was Gabe who helped Negan when he just wanted to die. So I think that Negan has grown to respect Gabe, even though he does bust his balls. I also feel like he's grown attached to Judith and would be willing to try to stop the Whisperers to help keep her safe in some respect. What do you guys think about this? Thoughts on Negan's role, what Negan's role will be going forward? Thanks, guys. Great insight there, Christy. I don't want to spoil the comics for you, but Gabriel does not end up with his head on a spike. He dies another way, and in my opinion, it's probably one of the most horrific deaths. I was
going to say equally as gruesome
in the comic of all time. I mean, you chop somebody's head off, if they just chop their head off, it's probably out, unless they there's
sometimes you get.
I'm sure there's painful ways of being decapitated, but the way that Gabriel goes in the comics is pretty rough, and they've already kind of foreshadowed that. I won't tell you what or where because I want you to be shocked unless you want the spoiler, but it had a little something to do with Eugene and Rosita. We'll just put it that way. Somewhere in their little interaction this season has given a foreshadowing for how Gabriel may die. But you're right. I do think Negan's probably come to. I mean, even when Negan and Gabriel were in the trailer together, Negan had got some respect for him. Because remember when Negan was like, take him to his cell gently, and he was like, gently, something to that effect. Like, and then he was actually going to shoot him, but only because Gabriel tried to run and all that. But yeah, I definitely think that Negan would, maybe try to avenge Gabriel.
Especially after their like meditation sessions and all that stuff.
And I completely agree about Judith. Oh yeah, I definitely think that Negan would get into the Whisperer War if nothing else to try and watch or save Judith, without a doubt. I think that he's got a redemption arc coming, man, and I'm excited for it. I love a good redemption arc. As long as they can execute it, if they can execute it half as well as the comic did, we're in for a treat. Because the comic's redemption arc has been one of the best comic stories I've read in a long time.
Negan's turned into a beautiful anti-hero.
Yep. He is the perfect, he is the personification of the word anti-hero. My friend and I were talking about that because Andrew Lincoln won some award years ago for like best anti-hero. And I'm like, I'm sure people can debate it and that's fine. But in my mind, Rick's not really an anti-hero. Like, yeah, he has methods that aren't like Jax from Sons of Anarchy. That's an anti-hero because he's breaking the law or he's done some grimy stuff to cover his tracks, things like that. Rick just kills and does messed up things with the sole intention of saving himself or other people. He doesn't like go off and rob people. He doesn't do anything terrible to anyone that doesn't deserve it, we'll say. You know what I mean? But I think Negan is an anti-hero. Without a doubt. He's
turning into one.
But yeah, Carrie Major says, mail call. Hey guys, love your streams. Thank you. Thank you for everything. No, thank you for listening. Why do you all think there are so many graves at Hilltop? Because lots of people done died.
And I think that kind of plays into what happened with the Michonne thing. And why everyone's so pissed off. Yeah,
you're right. We actually had a commenter comment on one of our other videos, and apologies for not knowing who it was because I just briefly saw the notification on my phone, but had a good point. Notice we're not seeing Oceanside.
Oh,
a lot of people are thinking maybe Michonne might have killed some of them or had some kind of conflict, and that's kind of what drove Maggie and the rest to not. I mean, because whatever Michonne did had to have been messed up, and we know that she probably did it to save people, like maybe
the sanctuary. Maybe the Oceanside's trying to finally just wipe out the whole sanctuary.
Right. Maybe she did it for Rick, knowing that Rick wouldn't want to let Oceanside wipe him out. Maybe there was a conflict. Maybe she accidentally killed, something. Again, that's why I love this season, man. Season 9, there's so many questions, and they're going to get answered, and we know they're going to get answered in the next half of the season. So,
well, I love this podcast, man. We're connecting dots, baby. I mean, we haven't seen Oceanside. We know Sanctuary's disbanded. A lot of people are dead. A lot of people pissed off at Michonne.
Yeah.
Who didn't like Sanctuary either.
I mean, she's done something. You know what I mean? And it wasn't.
So she probably stood with the Sanctuary to fend off Oceanside.
Maybe. But well, we did have that guy that ran into Carol mention after the Sanctuary fell. Right. So we don't really know how they fell. Like, did they just get overrun with zombies? Did they lose a battle to someone else? Like, they run out of food? Like, what made it fall? We don't know that. So, yeah, maybe there's a possibility that Michonne ended up, because I'm trying, there's no real, I mean, is there any characters missing that we can think of aside from the Oceanside people?
Not to my knowledge, no.
But I'm just thinking, like, one of them, like maybe they did something messed up. Michonne just.
What would you have done in that situation? Would you have stood with the Sanctuary? Would you have just not intervened at all? Would you have,
That's a tough spot to be in, man.
It really is. I mean,
I don't know. I want to say, I might for certain people, because there were people at the Sanctuary that had nothing to do with Negan's madness. They were not soldiers. They weren't doing anything sadistic. But at the same time, you do have some like Alden, which we called him. He's the one you thought was a blacksmith's son. Right. I don't know why. Like, we try really hard to remember these people's names, and there's a lot, so we do forget some of them sometimes. But his name I could not remember.
It's a weird name.
Ever. But now he was a savior, and he was a soldier. But look at what a good guy he is. He was not a bad guy. He was with a group of people trying to survive, and that group of people so I mean, part of me would want to be like, hold on, I mean, I do agree that, kind of like Hitler's generals, I definitely think Rick and them should have maybe had a trial for some of his top generals. I get that,
war crimes tribunal.
Right. I'm not saying they necessarily should have executed them, but I do get that they were under threat of death and everything, but that still doesn't excuse you murdering children and stuff. So, I mean, like.
Yeah, the whole Oceanside Sanctuary beef, man, that's a real like Star Trek kind of dilemma, because, they, like Captain Picard would have practiced diplomacy and tried to defuse the situation, but at the end of the day, you got to respect the prime directive, non-interference, I mean.
And what sucks, because part of me would want to just say, I'm going to back off, man. Y'all, I really encourage you to try to work this out, and I'm happy to help any way I can. But if there's going to be combat or fighting, I want no part of it. You two just do what you got to do, but leave us out of it. I got people to protect. So, I mean, that's a tough spot to be in, man. That's why being a leader is not easy, but
I mean, when you see the sanctuary with children and all this kind of stuff,
right?
How do you let them just?
How can you just stand by,
especially when they're unarmed? I mean, were they still unarmed at the end of the season? I mean, I know they had got some guns, but largely unarmed, I would think.
Oh yeah, largely unarmed. And the thing is, too, they didn't. Without Rick's people, they didn't really have any protection. That's who was, protecting them and guarding. So I don't know. It's a tough spot to be in, but
it is. That's a whole podcast to itself.
It is. Like I said, I would definitely want to save people. I mean, I think I would try to diffuse the situation, but if it happened to the point where they weren't listening again, I just have to be like,
just let it play out.
I mean,
nature.
Maybe we try to swoop in there and save the kids and the innocent people. Like, come on, we're going to get you out of here before it gets bad. But aside from that, if the powers to be from both communities are not going to hear it, I mean, the best thing to do would be to hammer out, like, just get some boundaries and be like, okay, you two stay out of each other's, which sucks because that's not what Rick wanted. Rick wanted a world where trade and interaction, but at the time, these two want to kill each other. One really wants to kill the other. Give them some boundaries and be like, do not cross this line. You know what I mean? I mean, you could step in and be a superpower if you want it and be like, no, we forbid this. We're drawing a boundary. You're going to be in trouble if you cross this.
Yeah.
That's a tough spot to be in, man. That's why I say I'm a planner. Like, it would be one of those things I would have to say, let me sleep on it. Like, let me just truly weigh my options and figure out what I want to do.
That's when we're like, while he's sleeping, we wipe out everyone. Nighttime attack.
Oh, you're sadistic.
Sometimes.
That's why I would definitely have you on my side.
Yeah.
Let's see. But thank you for your question, Carrie.
That's a deep one.
Yeah, very. But yeah, I definitely think something big happened. And that's why there's so many graves. But your question inspired interesting conversation.
It did indeed.
Skeptical American says, during the midseason break, would you consider podcasting on the TV show Jericho? It's a really interesting post-apocalyptic show that only ran for about 30 episodes, but it was great. Lenny James Morgan was on it. Oh, as a main character as well. Oh, wow. All the episodes are on Netflix, and I would imagine you guys would enjoy it.
I remember that show.
I remember it being on. Somebody else famous was in it. He was on something else.
Well, I tuned in briefly because I thought, Chris Jericho, the wrestler, was going to be involved, but he wasn't. So after that, I was like, oh.
Yeah, so, I would be interested. Maybe we'll try to watch an episode or two, see what we think, and if we like it, maybe we'll podcast on it.
Was that a network show or cable?
I thought it was network.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. Let us know, Skeptical American, because I honestly don't know what it came on. Brianne McCann says, side note, love you guys. Don't worry, Justin. Always picture you as a big burly guy.
Oh.
Well, I'm like, that's what I say. That's what I hate about my voice is it's deceiving. I mean, it depends on what part of the year you catch me. Sometimes I have a big beard and, I haven't worked out as much, so I start gaining a little weight, and I kind of am a little not burly. I would never describe myself as burly, but I'm thicker. But then, like when we podcasted that live podcast, which was like a year and a half ago, it was a while back. Then I was working out 5 times a week and was keeping my beard shaved pretty low and was very thin and somewhat fit, whereas now I haven't been to the gym much in the last month or two, and it's really catching up. So give it another month or two, and I might be as burly as you imagine. But yeah, no, all my life I would be on the phone or whatever, and somebody would be like, you sound like a 250-pound beast. Like, nope, 180 pounds, dog.
That's still respectable.
But also, she addressed you.
Oh, me? What did you have to say about me?
Did JP give up on Telltale Games already?
Who, me?
You, yeah.
I wouldn't say I gave up. It's just it's so difficult. It's a hard game.
Now with JP's job change that's going on, there's going to be a lot more free evenings that JP will be able, because last time I brought the PlayStation to the station and we did that. But of course that was easy, but it was, we had to set up the PlayStation, set up a TV, get everything going. Yeah. It'd be easier just to do at home. So now with him being able to have nights off now, we probably will be able to do one of those a week.
Yeah, and it would be easier from a home locale,
Let's see. And then Deceptively Awesome says, they got rid of your favorite character. I guess he's talking about Jesus. Looking at when he... Yeah, they did. I was not happy about it, but It is what it is. Michonne Grimes says, I watched you when you did your live show. Ha, speak of the devil. We're just talking about, and yeah, you didn't look like your voice sounds, Justin. However, I think you all look great. Love the podcast. You guys are the greatest. Thank you, Michonne. You are awesome.
Sweetheart, always.
Yeah.
Always and forever.
Let's see, Justin, what radio stations do you work at? What radio station do you work at? Sorry, are you able to stream your station? You are, and maybe we'll give those out one day, but at the moment, I don't know exactly. Like, the company knows that we do podcasts, and they're cool with it. Right, but I don't know if I want to mix, you know what I mean? Like, maybe I'll send it to you, Michonne. Maybe I'll send you a message with the stream, but I don't want them to get tied together too much and then we get in trouble for something, or them being like, hey, you said the F word. I don't want my bosses listening to this podcast. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you represent the station and you dropped an F-bomb. So we try not to mix the two as we can. But, I don't know, Michelle. Maybe I'll send you a link or something. But, yeah, it's available for stream. Let's see. Michonne agreed with me. She was upset with Jesus dying. I was very upset. Let's see. And Michonne. Okay, I'm going to read this last one from Michonne, and we're going to go to a different person. Hi, guys. Okay, first, useless Andrea
Oh, God.
was not an attorney. She was a law clerk. Okay, I didn't know that. I thought she was some kind of an attorney. Okay. I'm with you, Justin. Hate Andrea. Booyah. Michonne spoken. Game over.
Y'all just get in your Andrea hate boat and sail away.
This next statement is so true. Michonne Grimes hit the nail on the head right here. She was so damn desperate for validation that she put people in danger. Yes. She's like that kid that didn't get enough hugs.
You two have clearly.
So she's like, look at me.
Never been in love. You don't
been in love? What are you talking about?
Ever.
How does that even relate to what we're talking about? Please, I don't want to go too off because we still got a lot of questions to answer. But I want you to.
It speaks volumes. That's all I'm going to say.
I want to know how this relates to love.
That's all.
My hate for Andrea. Explain it to me. I will not move from this spot until you explain it.
You're equating her deep love for validation, and you're confusing the two.
I think you're getting confused because that was a very moot point.
I think you're both sociopaths, and I'm leaving right now. That's it.
Okay.
I need to be in a room full of love.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, it's not going to get any easier because Create Till Death said Andrea, right after Michonne's comment, they commented and said, Andrea sucked for sure. She was dangerous, though. Dangerous to Daryl because of how stupid she was shooting him in season 2. Yes.
I mean, Daryl shouldn't have been staggering around like that. He was tweaked out on meth.
He was not on meth.
I think he had different motivations for what he was doing, and I'm not going to get into that.
Do not go where I think you're going to go with that. Do not.
I'm not. But I'm just saying that she had every
He wanted
right.
to get with Carol. Yes, that was his motivation. If that was your ulterior motive that he wanted
I'm not going to say, and I'm not going there. All I'm saying is she had every right.
My. Okay, so now Home Flattery says, the world would be better off if we still had Tyrese around. Dude was awesome. Yeah, I agree. I would love to see how he would be now.
Yeah, I mean, he had a great sense of moral aptitude, if that's even a term. But anyway, yeah, he was a sweetheart.
Well, and that was kind of his thing, was he just wasn't built for the zombie apocalypse. Like he was.
I mean, physically he was.
Physically, he was a monster. He was a strong dude, and he was a beast. But he didn't have the heart for it. You know what I mean? Like he didn't like having to kill people. Like Rick had just gotten to the point where didn't even give it a second thought. If you threaten, kill, move on. Tyrese couldn't even kill a guy that put his hands around a baby's neck. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? He just beat the holy shit out of him.
Yeah, he would have been great friends with Morgan, though.
Yeah, oh yeah. When Morgan first got back.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
Bill Huxell says, "Zombie fan? ? Look up We're Alive. You will have at least a week's worth of listening to a story very good." Okay. I'm always down. I'm going to actually look. See if you can. It
says We're Alive?
Yeah, let me see. Make sure that you can hear my. Oh, wait, wrong. Yeah, you hear that?
What's happening?
Bill Huxley, that was me screenshotting that comment so that I can look that up later. So I will definitely give that a look. Ray Owen says, do you think the films will start with Rick in a hospital bed thinking it was all just a dream? # never forget Ray. Because I called him Ray one time instead of Ryan. So yeah, I think so.
Yes,
that's kind of cliche, and I really would be okay without it.
Right.
I know that, but like being we saw him go out with the hospital bed and all of that. It's like, but I don't know. I really don't know. Part of me would like to see that. Part of me just would be like, man, we've seen the hospital bed thing, with his exit. We get it. We know the ties. But that is really, really cool. I mean, that was a great point, Ryan. That in that regard, that would be awesome. I'd be okay. Like for him to wake up and be like, wounds somewhat in the same place, because he got shot similar to, same area that he got impaled. So like he wakes up and he kind of sits up and he's got the patch on him and he's like, and just kind of, like, whoa. Thinking he was in a dream, but then, you quickly realize he wasn't. What if that hospital's been overrun? He wakes up and he's like, oh man, was it all a dream? Damn. And he's like, steps out in the hallway. It's all destroyed. Son of a bitch.
Right back to square one.
Damn it. Twice. I don't want to do this again. That's a great question, though. I don't know. I'd be cool with that. I love the idea of maybe going a few minutes with him thinking it was all a dream. Lori, Coral. But I mean, at some point, he's got to like realize he's older.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I'm stoked for the movies. I know that a lot of people are calling them cash grabs. They are, but nonetheless, shut up and take my money. I'm going to watch them. Yeah. Not really a question, but no one talks about T-Dog's sacrifice like it should. I agree, Tyler. Yes, he saved Carol, but technically he saved the whole group because Carol saved everyone from the Terminus thugs. Tyler, you're right. You're exactly right. T-Dog's sacrifices. T-Dog's one of those characters that I don't really feel like he didn't get the time he deserved. He didn't really have that many. The actor's a likable guy because he didn't even really have that many lines, but we loved him.
Yeah.
It was so. I remember when he's closing the gate and he gets bit, before he sacrifices himself, he gets bit on the shoulder or whatever. And he's just, I'm like, no. I was sadder that episode to see T-Dog go than I was to see Lori go.
Oh, yeah.
And then T-Dog sacrificed himself to save Carol, which you're exactly right. If he didn't save Carol, who knows where the group, they'd be dead probably.
They need to erect a T-Dog statue in the middle of Alexandria Square.
I'd be down. Yeah, no, T-Dog, great character. His sacrifice, definitely one of the, that broke my heart. I loved old T-Dog. Yeah. I wish they could have gave him a low. Not necessarily, when they killed him, it hit you in the gut. I wish he could have had a little bit more. I don't know. You know what I mean? Just a little bit more from T-Dog. Didn't have to be, they did, he had a lot to offer. He was a very loving looking guy. Alex Jimenez says, thanks for the advice on broadcasting. What are the odds of Daniel Salazar popping up in Rick's movie? That would be so cool. Maybe he was taken away by a helicopter and that's why he's not on Fear, or even Walker, the Native American guy. Huh? Yeah.
That'd be interesting. Yeah.
That would be super cool, man. Like some more crossover, because the only crossover we've had was technically at the beginning of this season where we saw Rick, Jesus, and Carol on the first episode, which I just lost my schnit, man. I was like, oh, dude, they're on Fear technically. And then, of course, Morgan's permanent crossover. But Kelly Broes says, I think the main reason Michonne had to leave her weapons at the gate is because Diane was a savior and they weren't allowed to carry them, and it was Michonne group that made that rule. Could be a good point.
Makes sense.
Well, Kristen and Shane commented and said, I believe Diane came from the kingdom, but I could be wrong. And then Kelly said, no, you're right. I couldn't quite remember, but she came in about the same time as them. Yeah, I thought she was, I was going to say, I thought she was from the kingdom, but if she was, because she was fighting the saviors. So, Diane came from the kingdom. That's why she's got that cool armor and she's an archer. Kenneth Dement says, Dwayne was 12 when Rick first met them. He'll be 20 now. Morgan said that Dwayne was alive, but will be dead soon, except for Rick and Morgan. So no one knows him or that he's Morgan's son. Jadis is listed for episode 9.09. So episode 9 of this season, Jadis is listed as a cast member.
That's
very interesting. On IMDb listing, the festival will be on episode 10. What did we say yesterday on the trailer breakdown? That we can see all of this happening fairly quickly. Like, we don't think it's going to be the Whisperer thing is going to be drug out and it'll be like, we think that fairly quickly things are going to start, some friction is going to happen with Alpha. I could see in the first couple of episodes, Schnit hitting the fan.
Yeah.
Let's see. Raphael Noreves, I'm sorry if I'm saying your names wrong, man. I really apologize. It's early, and I just got done doing an interview with somebody, so my brain is everywhere. Are we headed into a Negan-centric show? I feel like we are. The show only has 3 or 4 main characters, Michonne, Daryl, Carol, plus company. It seems that Rosita, a main character or a red shirt, is going to die. After that, once Negan is released from jail, I got this feeling that Negan will be front and center. Oh, yeah. I definitely think we're going to have a lot more Negan. I think what they were doing, and I've seen where Angela King did an interview about why there's less Negan. I didn't read it. But, I saw where they said that they were purposely giving you less Negan at the first half of this season. And I think it might be in part because people complained about how the last 2 seasons just kind of drug out and there was just so much Negan. So they were like, hey, we're going to back off, give you a little less Negan, give you some time apart, and then we're going to bring him back more as we get towards the end of the 9th season. And then
absence makes the heart grow fonder, from what I understand.
That's true. How long will it take for the community to get rid of the Whisperers? I imagine sometime next season.
Yeah.
It went on for a while in the comics.
It did.
And it even, after it kind of ended, it still kind of was going on. You know what I mean? Like other things were happening while some of the Whisperers were still out there. Mm-hmm. So this could be one of those things. It'd be cool. It'd be something they hadn't done in a while where like they kind of defeat the Whisperers, the majority, but there's still a few. I won't name who, but there's a few out there, and they may pop up time to time, or they finally will resolve it at the end of next season or the end of the following. So it could be a recurring enemy type thing.
Yeah.
But also, what is this says? I'm like your dad. Sons of Anarchy was fantastic. You should need to watch it. Yeah, I've actually watched it. I've watched it. I remember watching it when it debuted. Well, I got into it season 2 when that was happening because my buddy let me borrow season 1. Yeah, freaking awesome show, man. Sons of Anarchy was great. You should. As much as you like mafia type stuff, it's not mafia. It's bikers, but there's a lot of like double crossing and deals gone bad and like turf war type thing. It's really, really good. Some good music on that show too. All right, Jeep says Justin's right. Andrea was a waste of a character on the show. I feel
got to beat a dead horse. Look, she was an interesting character. She was beautiful.
That's the only reason JP likes her. Let me just put that out there now. No. JP finds her attractive because he got to see her butt when she hooked up with the governor. JP's been in love ever since. Everyone that listens to this podcast religiously knows about JP's all about getting that butt. He saw Andrea's butt, and he's been in love since.
It was the character dynamic. It was the development. It was
that butt, and the fact that she just randomly jumped on Shane's disco stick without a second thought, and JP finds that hot. It's okay, man. I mean, I feel you. It was hot. But she still was a terrible character.
No, she was a great character.
She says, I feel pretty confident she would have banged Negan also. Abraham is the character I still miss the most. Yeah, I would love to see Abraham today, like front and center again. Having him do the jail conversations with Negan would have been hilarious. You are not kidding, man. If it was Abraham going there and talking to him and the bullshit they would go back, oh, that would be awesome. If the kid that played Dwayne is coming back to the show, then what are the chances that he's still alive and Morgan just thought he was dead? No one at any of the communities has ever met him, so unless they started talking about his dad, they would never have a clue who he was. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how he finds his way to those communities. I mean, from Georgia to,
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, how could Morgan think he's dead? But I don't know. That's going to be a stretch if they pull that off.
Also, Tyler said, best podcast to listen to while cleaning. Thank you. I'm glad that we make cleaning suck, so I'm glad that we can make it a little bit better for you.
I get drunk when I clean, so that's what helps me.
I have to crank up music and have me a beer or something as well. I've got to just have something to make it not so chorish.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, a few.
I'm kind of a neat freak, but at the same time, if I do have a lazy week where I haven't done as much cleaning, I always, it's hard to get yourself up and motivated to clean up. Yeah, that's why I try to do it every few days, so it's not as bad. Where are we? We're making good time today. Jeep's comment, that's right. And she says, mail call. No, we already did that. All right, so yeah, I don't know. That is interesting. Going to be cool to see how he makes his way down. I think that somebody will just mention Morgan, and he'll be like, Morgan who? Yeah. Morgan Jones. That was my daddy.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm imagining Dwayne. Well, Dwayne and Morgan talk pretty country too, though.
Yeah.
Morgan's got quite a country accent. Yeah.
From Georgia.
What's your wound? What if Dwayne says it? He says that to somebody they're hurt, and he's like, "What's your wound?" You don't say it like your dad.
Yeah.
The movie Chick 06 mail call. Do you guys think Negan will follow his comic path? I hope he does. I don't want the show to remix it and kill him. Love your podcast. Well, we love you, movie chick. And I hope they don't kill him. That would be another waste of a character. Jeffrey Dean Morgan doesn't seem to want to leave. You know what I mean? Like, some characters are ready to go. I think Jeffrey Dean Morgan still seems very optimistic about this show. He still seems to enjoy being on this show. So if they chose to kill him off, it would be a dumb decision. I mean, that redemption arc is what makes you just love The Walking Dead.
Yeah, and Negan's a character who can kind of just float off for a while. You don't see him, and then he comes back.
And you're happy as hell to see him. And Yeah, so no, I don't think they'll kill him. Not unless he wants off the show.
Right.
I wish they would like make that super clear, though. You know what I mean? Like, yes, we killed him, but he wants to leave. It's like with Nick. There's a little Fear the Walking Dead spoiler. Sorry. But spoiler for Fear the Walking Dead, which just happened like earlier this year. But spoiler, it'll be done in like 20 seconds. But like when they killed Nick on Fear the Walking Dead, I was just like, what the hell? That was so stupid. Like, he's the most interesting character on the show. Then you find out the actor wanted to leave, so they don't really have a choice in those situations. I understand. Idris Dynasty. I'm sorry if we're dragging today, man. I'm tired.
I'm a little sluggish too.
I'm just out of it today. Idris Dynasty says, what do you think the choices that Michonne said she made were? I mean, she said people hate her because of those choices. And also, what do you think happened to Oceanside? We think that they might now be related.
Yeah, we kind of covered that in a previous question.
I don't think we'll get to see them for the rest of the season, which is a good thing because all we care about are the Whisperers, right? Yeah, you're right. And I don't know, man. I think that something bad happened between Michonne and Oceanside.
Yeah, and we may expand on that in a whole separate podcast.
Yeah, we might. I mean, we got a lot. We got like a couple of months between now and when it comes back. So, of course, we plan to keep this momentum up. I mean, some weeks we might only have 2 podcasts. Some weeks we might have 5. Some weeks 4. But we plan to keep giving you, like I think when the show would go off, we would take like breaks for months between podcasting. So we're trying to keep some momentum going. So we will continue to talk to. So we'll be looking for subjects to address. So we'll probably get into that, I'm sure. Brian Akeem, longtime listener, says, whatever happened to Mikey in the show?
I don't remember Mikey.
Who's Mikey? Who is Mikey?
Man, I can't remember the characters on screen like every episode.
It's bad. I should know every detail. I've watched this show so many times. It shows you how distracted I get. Like, I'll be cleaning when I have it on, like when I'm rewatching the seasons, or I'll be like surfing.
We'll do a little research and get back to you.
Yeah, I don't know who Mikey is off the top of my head. JC Duchette. I'm sorry if I'm saying it wrong. We'll call you JC. That works. Would you guys do your podcast on the Civil War with the men against women? That means the women have Carol, Michonne, Rosita, Enid, Tara, and the new women, etc. I think the guys would lose, LOL. P.S. JP would be killed quickly when Rosita entices him for some hot action, only to be surprised with his pants down by Carol and Michonne waiting to ambush him. LOL, man, bye-bye, JP.
What a way to go.
I was going to say, you would die with a smile on your face, though.
Yeah, but I think once they got the sight of my naked body, it would just be, it would be a whole different scenario.
You think they would are you suggesting necrophilia or that they wouldn't kill you?
No, they wouldn't kill me. They would engulf me in a sexual desire.
Oh, okay,
yeah. And we would all
like right now, it's hard to take you serious. You got your cap off and your hair is going every which way. You're just starting to look a little like Trevor from Grand Theft Auto.
But
so it's like, oh yeah,
it'd be a beautiful thing. Yeah, it'd be a lot of stabbing.
I mean, penetrate a man. I'm not even going to go there.
Yeah, enough said.
Tutor the Walking Dead says the dynamite was on the bridge for a reason. Remember that Rosita and Arat used it in episode 2. Yes, actually, which is why I'm going back. I already started going back through. My goal is to know this season inside and out.
Okay.
Because I've got so many, like Game of Thrones, I got to get ready for that, and there's so many other things I'm watching.
A lot of stuff going on.
I'm going back and rewatching this season so that I know every part. And I'm actually like halfway through episode 3. So, but I just saw that yesterday. Yep, on episode 2, the dynamite was placed there by after the Saviors left the same day that Rick quote died. Beta should try to break TV Negan in terms. I'm sorry, I'm reading this all wrong. Beta should break TV Negan in half in terms of both realism and fiction. Oh yeah, but we just expect Negan to somehow get in a few good licks.
Somebody get Negan some like protein bars or something.
He's been in prison right now. Would be the perfect time to beef him up. Yeah. They've been feeding him. He's had nothing to do but push-ups.
Yeah.
I mean, I know there's not but so much workout you can do in a prison cell without, a bench or anything like that. But he could have got a little ripped.
He could.
Let's see. I see that they didn't give him you remember the where Negan, they let him out to take a bath?
Yeah.
And, he's got the towel around him, and who's he talking crap to? Like Andrea somebody, but he's just got, he's got his hair cut, and all of that. I noticed they didn't do that in this one because he's a little too slender to, All right, let's see. And 2 more questions. Brian Akeem says, how does Walker blood work? It didn't kill Rick and Abraham in seasons 5 and 6. However, it blinded Gabriel, but killed Tobin and a bunch of red shirts in season 8. I love that we now refer to like these side characters who don't matter as red shirts because it's so true.
Yeah, absolutely. That's kind of always been
it's been inconsistent as hell. Yeah, I mean, like they wear it on their skin and they're fine. The Whisperers wear, and I know they tan the hides and everything, like stretch them out, dry them out, but they wear their skin and they're good to go. I don't know. It's very like, remember when Rick was on the ground when that zombie had gotten into Alexandria in season 5, I think?
Yeah. And
he's like on the ground and like rips its throat out or whatever, and it just bleeds all over his face and mouth. Like, how do you not get infected at that point?
Yeah.
So it's very spotty. I know that, and some people are like, no, dumbass. Because we've had this conversation, and but like what they say happens is that it's not like necessarily a virus, but it's like everybody has it, and when they bite you, their mouth is so full of like bacteria and just disgusting stuff that it gives you an infection that kills you very quickly, and then whatever's already inside of us brings us back as walkers.
Right.
But nonetheless, they've mentioned like getting any of that on you can. I mean, it's rotten. It's full of bacteria and just nasty stuff. So I don't know, man. If anybody has a better grip on how infection and all of that works in the Walking Dead world, please leave it in the comments section and we will address it in another video. Maybe we'll make a whole video about it. Maybe if you know a lot about it, we'll call you and let you do a guest.
There you go.
Guest hosting, and we can do a whole podcast about it.
Yep.
But let us know. And finally, the last one, not a question, ending with a high note.
Ooh.
Isaac Filippo, I think. And if I said that wrong, please tell me how to pronounce that, and I'll be happy to do it better next time. Says, from Mexico, big fan. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you. Isaac, you rock. We're glad.
Our international fans.
That's what we've said before. That's what we love so much about this podcast is like how we get to connect with people outside of the States. It's so cool.
Yeah, we touch so many people.
It's like there's nothing you can say that doesn't sound dirty.
No.
I imagine that I'm not even, man. I've had, like, number one, I'm tired. So, like, I think of a good way to rip on you.
Yeah.
It's really good. And I go to throw it out, but then I realize I'm too tired to think of where to go from there. So I just stop myself. I've done that like 5 times. I've had something I wanted to say, but then I wouldn't know where to go from there.
Well, maybe we'll podcast later in the afternoon and we'll,
Maybe.
But
yeah, so I'm dragging a little bit today. I'm tired. I apologize if this was a kind of draggy podcast. But
it's cold. It's,
it is.
We're in like hibernation mode.
I'll be on it right there.
Yep, there you go. You should have some oatmeal, man. That kind of like
Justin yawn.
A bit. That's good oatmeal with some raisins, man.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind some oatmeal.
You getting your 5 servings of fruit every day? I'm working on it.
I try to eat healthy. I eat fruits and vegetables.
But you get your 5 servings. That's very important. And a serving doesn't have to be like a huge bowl of fruit. I'm getting better. I've got some Clementine oranges in the fridge.
Clementine. We need to get on the Walking Dead Telltale games. That's the name of the character from those.
Oh, well,
Clementine.
The fruit is sweet and delicious, so maybe the game's sweet and delicious as well.
It is.
They're seedless, really good. Hopefully it's seedless.
Yeah, they got the seeds out before they shipped it out.
Okay, well, thank goodness for that.
But yeah, so if you got a question, please leave it on this video. It's been a busy week, both personally, at work, and podcasting, so we didn't really get to go through the other videos and get your questions, but just re-ask them here on this video. It's just easier for us to go to last week's podcast mail call video, pull it up, and ask the questions. But leave us a question, man. We love the questions. We love answering them. You guys are creative, and you've got some interesting ones. And no holds bar, man. I mean, it don't have to be about The Walking Dead. You can ask questions about JP's sex life. You can ask questions about anything, really. JP's habits, we'll call them.
Yeah, whatever you like. We're an open book. I'm an open book. How's your book? Is it cracked? Is it what's going on?
It's mostly available to the public.
All right. Well, yeah.
There's not much to hide there. So, yeah, ask anything that you want, and we will address it in next week's Mail Call podcast.
We'll do it.
I'm Justin.
It'll be a beautiful thing. I'm JP. Gosh, I'm getting the yawns too now. Lord have mercy. Let's get out of here.
We're the Podcasting Dead. We'll catch you later.
More oatmeal.